Hi, welcome. Hi, welcome to Miss Julie's Montessori Minutes. In August, I made this pledge to myself and to you, and welcome to you. I made a pledge that I was going to do a video every weekday, and it was ambitious, but I did it for many reasons. And this week, I'm back to real work in the classroom. I am scheduling home visits and school visits and doing all the businessy side of that. And so I thought I'd go live instead of spending time editing and such, and give you a chance, if you're here with me, to ask any questions. And Wednesdays are my practical life days this month. And so what I thought I'd do is, you may not know that I'm also a teacher trainer, Montessori teacher trainer, and then I also do professional development and consulting. And one tool I have with that is kind of a check sheet for people who have been at Montessori for a while, to kind of refresh and renew and take a different perspective and look at their classroom environment. And so I give them a very simple checklist. And I thought, well, that's not just helpful to teachers, it'd also be helpful to any of you at home who want to do, like I'm doing Montessori at home, like a mini classroom that you may have, or your child is a Montessori student and you just want to bring in more of the Montessori materials into your classroom. So I thought you might find this checklist. Healthy. Yeah, I thought you'd find it helpful and healthy. So I'm just going to go down it. And if you have any questions about Montessori practical life or otherwise, I'll keep an eye on the comments. So go ahead and ask those. Okay, so first of all, so what is practical life? Well, Montessori practical life is care of the self, so learning to care for yourself independently, care of the environment, both the classroom, the home, and the outdoor environment, and learning how to prepare food, grace and courtesy, which is manners and how you conduct yourself, how you move yourself through space. And then one that people don't mention a lot, but actually movement of furniture is its own category of practical life. And especially in toddler environment, they love that they have furniture that's small that they can move around themselves. So movement of furniture is another category of practical life. All right, so I've got my checklist here to share with you. Okay. So in your classroom or home, try to have 2 activities for self-care. The child can just go to that setup and take care of that need they have for themselves. And a good one for the toddler age is a little tray with tissues so that they can learn to wipe their nose, a brush or a sponge to clean their boots or their shoes, a little setup for that. And then setting up the kitchen and the bathroom so that they can wash their hands independently is another good one. But I just recommend thinking of 2 activities, like face washing is another one that your child will just be able to do independently because you've always got that care of self activity set up. Right? And then care of the environment. 3 is a good number for ways they can help you be a part of the community, help care for the house. And there should be basic things that they can clean up after themselves. And I have videos on my YouTube channel about that. And in addition to those, things like a setup for cleaning the windows are good, or polishing with some safe wood polish wood, or a mirror cleaning setup. But about 3 ways, if they just want to contribute to the good of the household, be good stewards of their home, they can just go and do those 3 little activities. And the same with outdoor environment. So that could be as simple as a broom or a rake, or even a little pair of scissors to help deadhead the flowers, or if they're flowers that can be deadheaded with just a pole. of the hand, just a little bucket that they can deadhead the flowers, or a bucket for weeding. Just about 3 activities that, in addition to just play outside, which is super important, they can contribute to the maintenance of the house and, excuse me, of the outdoors. And one we really had fun with this year was reseeding bare patches of grass. So they had little trowels and rakes where we'd like stir up the top layer of dirt and then plant some seed and just take care to water that patch. And they really did a great job. Our lawn's looking a lot better than it did. Okay. Having 2 or in the food prep area, having 2 or 3 options where they know how to make their own snack, either a drawer with some foods, it could be as simple as learning to cut open a fig bar and eat that, or teaching them to slice a banana, but some healthy options that are always available to them that they can, it's not just eating it, but something they can have a part of preparing it, even if it is really simple, like washing and plucking grapes. Okay, and then just take a look at the materials you have out right now. Make sure they're in good repair and that they're kept clean, and they can clean their own materials. You don't have to do it. You can give them a little scrub brush to clean their dustpan and make sure it's looking nice and attractive. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be super fancy, but it should be clean and attractive because we want the material to call to the child, come, I am an enjoyable piece of material to use. Come and work with me. And part of Montessori is that the materials are readily available to the child and they can take all the materials they need with them to work. So having all the items grouped together in a basket or in a tray, the dog, hello dog, a basket or a tray, so they can just take all the materials with them to set up their little work area. And make sure the items in there are scaled to the child so they're not too heavy, but they're not too light either, that it doesn't give a real sense of the contents. It's got to be heavy enough for them to go, oh, I'm carrying something of substance. So find that balance and try to get a basket or a tray that has a little edge so things don't slide off, because that can be super frustrating for a child. And then try to have activities that require water close to the sink. So if they need to fill a little pitcher of water to fill a bowl for face washing, for example, or if they need to refill their spray bottle. And I know here the spray bottle for window washing, pouring it out and emptying it is almost as much fun as washing the window. So giving them close access to the sink. And on the topic of sink, if you turn down the pressure of the water, then you can relax a little more, letting your child play at the sink, knowing they're not wasting so much water. And it's also easier for them to aim it precisely into whatever container they're gathering water into. Okay, and in your practical life and in your child's life in general, do you have some items that can break? It helps them learn to take care of things when they know they can break. Just make sure that they're ceramic or something that doesn't shatter really easily. You wouldn't want to give them Chinette because that just splinters into a million pieces. So in the classroom, we have things that break, and I choose things that I know when they break will just break in a few pieces, so they're easy to clean up safely. And they don't break them too often once they learn that they break. And even a verbal reminder, usually like, oh, that's breakable. They might not know yet. And it teaches them to be careful. And they really like being trusted with breakable objects. They're very proud the first time in the classroom when we say, oh, you can carry this glass pitcher, or you can carry this glass bowl. They're proud that an adult gave them the opportunity to be careful with something. So do select some Pieces that are breakable but light enough to easily be carried by your toddler. Okay, and in the classroom, but also at home with siblings, it's good to have one of each item, even if there's multiple children, because it does teach the children to take turns. And I've got a pretty popular video right now about how in Montessori and how I recommend you teach a child to share. And that is by the real, well, I'm declaring it the real way that people share and take turns. And that's the way we teach the children. And the way to do that is to have only one of each item. So they have to practice and they have to learn to be patient and they have to respect that someone else is going to use that material until they're done. And I mentioned earlier, but do be sure to have items so that the child can clean up after themselves. If they spill paint on the floor or water, make sure they have a mop or a sponge, or if you don't want to get a mop necessarily, you could even, many schools also just have like a basket of floor cloths, and they're especially color-coded to be used on the floor. And that's another easy practical way. You could repurpose a beach towel or something, cut it up, and use that for floor cloths. All right. Well, I hope those tips were helpful. And if you ever have any questions, I love answering questions of all kinds. So any video you're watching, leave a comment. I do read all the comments. So no matter what video you ask a question on, I will see it, and that might be something other people want to know more about, and then I can make a video. Okay, well, tomorrow is Thursday, and so we're talking about social emotional development, and I have one coming out on, well, things that babies do or do not need. And it's a collaboration with Chantal over at Raising Little, so I'm going to get back to editing that one. But thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the comments. All right, bye-bye.